Welcome to Gracefully Growing, the podcast that helps you thrive in life during and after high school. I am Dr. Kemi, educator. I'm to the most amazing 12 and a half year old sunshine that you will ever meet, author, speaker, and gratitude advocate. I'm so excited to have you on this journey with me as we explore what I call the 5 key principles that will guide you to a fulfilling life. And what are those 5 key principles, you say? I say they are gratitude, reflection, affirmation, connection, and empathy. So let me tell you a little bit about the podcast. This podcast is based on my book, Living with Grace, your guide to thriving in life after high school. Now, even though I wrote this book for people in high school, you will come to find out that these 5 principles apply to just about anyone. 2 things that we know are constant are people will people and life will life, right? Now, how you navigate these 2 constants are up to you. So, over the next few months, we're going to dive into each of these grace principles and discover how they help you navigate the challenges and opportunities of life right now, and of course, beyond. Let's review the 5 principles of grace. We're going to start with gratitude. Gratitude simply for me it just means focusing on my focus. I got this from my sister. My sister would always say, sis, we're just going to focus on our focus, right? It's looking at your situation and choosing to be positive about it. Gratitude is about recognizing the good in your life, even when things are not perfect. Gratitude is not what we call toxic positivity, right? Gratitude just means you're taking a moment to appreciate the small things, such as a kind word from somebody, right? A smile from someone, or even looking at the big things, such as having a roof over your head. You flip on the light switch and the light come on, right? Or there is food on the table. Even if it is not the food that you wanted to eat, there is food on the table, if that makes sense. So gratitude is just recognizing things that are going good in your life and just taking a moment to pause to look at your life or to look at the glass as half full as opposed to half empty. And when you choose to focus on all the things that are going well for you, all other things they become insignificant in comparison. So all the things that would bother you, okay, so this is not going well, right? So maybe, for example, you didn't do well on a test. You can reflect on it and see how you could do better or what you can do, but focus on not the fact that you failed the test, although we don't want you to fail the test, right? But I don't want you to focus on the fact that you failed the test. I want you to focus on the fact that you could talk to your teacher and see if you could retake the test. And that's gratitude. Okay. So the second one is reflection. For reflection, I say that is taking responsibility for your piece of the mess. We call this accountability. Reflection is the act of looking back at your experiences to learn from them. And this is more than thinking about what happened. It's about gaining some insight on what worked, what didn't, and how you can move forward with greater clarity. So I say reflection, I look at reflection like this. Maybe you had a misunderstanding with a friend or something happened that didn't quite go your way. I want you to pause and I want you to think about the part you played and not what the other person did or what the other person said. What was your reaction? Take accountability for that part. That is your reflection. And then figure out a way not to get yourself in that predicament any longer. The third tenet is affirmations. Affirmations is simply positive self talk. Affirmations they are positive. You state them in the present tense to help you believe in your abilities as well as your potential. The way affirmations work, if you do them well enough, is affirmations kind of help you to reprogram your brain and your subconscious so that you're focusing on your strength rather than on your weaknesses. So I'll tell you a little story. Remember my 12-and-a-half-year-old Sunshine? Well, when he was about 4, and it was the second week of pre-K. So he asked me when he got home. I picked him up from school, and he said, "Mommy, do you know what self-talk is?" I said, "Self-talk?" He said, "Yes, self-talk. Have you ever heard of it?" Now, you know what self-talk is, right? But I pretended that I didn't know what self-talk is. So I said to him, I said, "Tell me what self-talk is." And that's when he said to me, "Well, self-talk is what you tell yourself in your brain." And so I proceeded to ask my 4-year-old, because he was 4 at the time, "So what do you tell yourself in your brain?" So then he proceeded to tell me about all his words of affirmation. So we started him on words of affirmation when he was 2. And so he started to repeat his words of affirmation. I am intelligent. I am awesome. I am amazing. I am phenomenal. I know, phenomenal for a 2-year-old. I know. And he told us he was courageous and he was kind and all these things, right? That is affirmations. That is positive self-talk. That is you replacing that the words in your brain that tells you you can't do something, replace it with I can't do it yet. Yet. Put the yet on the back of it. So then that gives your brain and your subconscious the opportunity to say, you know what, we're going to learn how to do that thing that we can't do yet. And we'll talk some more about this in future episodes. Now, your fourth principle is connections. Connections simply is about networking. Who's your who? Who's in your corner? Who's helping you to achieve your goal? Who can you talk to? Who can give you good advice about any and everything? Who's in your circle of friendship that can support your goals, your dreams, your aspirations? Relationships are crucial for personal and professional growth. Whether these people are family members, whether these people are friends, they're mentors, the people you connect that can support you, they can challenge you, they can tell you about yourself and when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? And they help you grow. Don't forget your teachers. It always amazes me when young people don't think about their teachers as part of their networking group. So I'll tell you a story. When I was a teacher, I taught science for 13 years at a local high school. And I had a student who wanted to go to the school I attended. I attended Spelman College. And she told me, she said, "I want to attend Spelman College." I said, "Okay, whenever you're ready, let me know. I'll be happy to write you a letter of recommendation." So when it was time, I did write her the letter of recommendation and she got accepted into Spelman College. Yay! Then about a year into Spelman, she reached out to me via email and she said, "Hey, Miss Abdul Kadir," that's my name at the time. She said, "Hey, Miss Abdul Kadir, I need a job. Do you know anyone that I could talk to on Spelman's campus that could give me a job?" So I said, "Yeah, I do." So I reached out to one of my former professors via email and I said, "Hey, doctor," I can't remember his name right now. I sent him an email. I said, "One of my former students is a current student at Spelman College and she needs a job." Guess what? He hired her. That's what I'm talking about. Connections. Your teachers know people. They're members of your community. They should be a part of your network. So don't leave them out, okay? Finally, let's talk about empathy. Empathy simply is your ability to understand and share the feelings of others. And how does empathy start? It starts with listening, not just to hear words, but truly to understand the message behind the words. Empathy means you're listening not just to respond, you are listening to understand somebody else's perspective. You don't have to agree with their perspective. Listen, not to judge. Listen to understand. So we're going to be going deeper into each of these. I'm going to be providing you with tips on how to build your grace muscles. Okay. Yeah, that's what we're going to call them. So before we get started on this journey together, I want to encourage you to grab a journal. If you don't have a journal, I actually wrote a really great one. The link to my journal is going to be posted below. Or for now, you can just open your phone's notes app. As we go through each of these episodes, I'm going to be sharing ideas, I'm going to be sharing tips, I'm going to be sharing reflection prompts. And I want you to be able to take a moment to jot down your thoughts or any goals you have for your personal as well as your professional growth. Listen, y'all, I am so excited for our growth together. This has been Gracefully Growing with Dr. Kimmy. I encourage you to have a peace-filled, joyful, and loving day, and I will see you the next episode.